Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. It's the Daily Dish! Yay! Hi, Debbie. Good to see you. Jocelyn's in the house. There's our Catherine as well. Alice has already got her pinkies flying up. What does that tell you? Cheers to our mother hen is in the house. Nancy, Beverly is here, back from the beach, I'm guessing. Anyway, boy, are we going to have a good time today. You know, we're always talking about the pieces of the puzzle, because isn't life just one big grandiose puzzle? Sandy agrees with me. Hey, Deb, good to have you here. It is absolutely the case. It's the truth. This is the way it is. And it's not so that we are walking around in a fog and we can't figure things out. We are constantly, though, on the path to vibrancy so that we can figure things out. And I will say this, that just what we said yesterday in yesterday's show, it's the process is more important than the goal. Because the process is the thing that moves us along and gives us the vibrant life. It's not about the attainment of all the things. Otherwise, you know, we're just rats in a maze. I was going to say maze in a rat race. No, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, I am super delighted to be able to share some of this. I'm talking again about developing this healthy mindset, because the mindset piece is absolutely everything. Without the mindset piece, you do not have the opportunity to make anything happen. You know, I pride myself at being a good nutritionist and doing my research and finding things out and seeing what the latest things are and debunking stuff as much as I can for you. You know, I'm certainly not perfect, and I've certainly had to go back and say, oops, this has changed. This is what this is. But I'm going to tell you something, that without making those shifts and without making those changes and without having the flexibility to do those kind of things, I would be stuck in 1993 when I became a nutritionist in the first place. And if I gave you and taught you all of that stuff, you'd be looking at me with one eye closed going, what year are you in, lady? This is what we do with our mindset when we keep dragging out the past and we keep reliving that stuff, and we don't notice there's a pattern in how we're doing all of that. This is why it's so important to be noticing your mindset and to be correcting it. So that is where we're going to be talking about today, and also the pieces to be able to move things along. Meanwhile, however, we do have drop available. Speaking of research, you know how long this took us to put together? Over a year. This is a proprietary formula. There's a botanical formula as well as a bunch of different supplements, a little bit of this and a little bit of, it's a concoction, if you will. It's proprietary, it is ours, and all of these things work together for your good to keep your blood sugar levels down. They are now implicating, new research, by the way, are implicating it is not as much of the LDL and all the, you know, plaque and what have you that cause the plaque in your arteries as much as it is high sugar. They're calling Alzheimer's diabetes type 3. And did you know, this is a sad fact, but diabetics live 10 to 15 years less than those who don't have diabetes. This is why your blood sugar levels are so critically important. As we age too, our blood sugar levels naturally go up. We can keep bringing them down with diet and lifestyle choices, and also some smart supplementation. So get yourself some drop. You can find it at savingdinner.com/show. If you buy 3, you will get the 4th one for free. If you've had a doctor say, we got to keep an eye on your blood sugar levels, I don't like your fasting blood sugar levels, get this. I'm serious. Get it. Show them what you can do on your own. This is really amazing. And also, this is also not magic pixie dust in a bottle. It's going to make everything go away, especially if you are making really poor choices diet and lifestyle wise. We got to change that stuff up. That's just the way it is. Hi, Helen. It's good to have you here. And Jackie's here too. Who else did I miss? Deborah's here. Look at that. We're just going to jam on it today. It is Thirsty Thursday. It's our last day until next week. All kinds of things going on. Say a little prayer for my puppy. Lincoln has a little bit of a bloody toenail. His left middle toenail is all bloody. Mark stepped on him. He accidentally, poor doggy, and now he's limping, and we got to go to the vet. So keep his little doggy self in prayer. The webinar that we did on Tuesday explained everything that we have about the Ultimate Sprint. Now, the Ultimate Sprint has just now been released, and you can get it at savingdinner.com/sprint. You can also get the webinar there. And it's all linked up there. You can get the webinar, but watch the webinar, and you can also purchase it there. I'm sure there's a direct link if you just want to go get it. But here's the thing you need to understand. Based on all this new research that I'm talking about and the things that I'm learning as, a woman of a certain age, there is some critical information for you, and there is the how-to so that you can do this. And that's what the Ultimate Sprint is all about. 2015 is when the sprint came about. It was for me. It was for me as I was learning how to really completely cleanse my life of any kind of inflammation to get Hashimoto's under control. So I have not updated it since. I have now. And it is the Ultimate Sprint. And we start on April 10th. And we're going to do this for 2 weeks, not 1, because I believe that week 1 is going to be the training period and week 2 also training period. There's kind of a phase 1 and a phase 2. I don't want you to be overwhelmed. But this is the stuff, guys. This is the stuff. I'm really excited about this. I want you to have this information. So go check it out at savingdinner.com/sprint. Okay? All right. What else can I tell you? The quote of the week. Come on. It's so good. You can't wait until life isn't hard anymore until you decide to be happy. How often do we put off things? How often are we not using our good china or the good glasses or the good fill in the blank? I think I've shared this story from a long time ago, but it was my mother-in-law or grandmother-in-law who when she passed, I was a newlywed, we inherited all of her furniture. Silk brocade. It was beautiful, just a damask type fabric on this kind of very rose-colored pink sofa with beautiful fringe on them. It was absolutely pristine and perfect shape. 2 beautiful armchairs. We had all this, beautiful. It was all kind of dated and stuff, but so what? It was still lovely. And we just bought a house. So perfect. All this stuff comes, we start using it. And don't you know, the fabric, within a week, the fabric was just tearing. She had that stuff in her living room for years, covered up in plastic. Never used it. And guess what happens when you don't use something? It doesn't work anymore. That includes your head, your brain, your muscles. If you don't use it, you will lose it. It includes your body. It includes your belongings. It includes everything. So don't put your life on hold. Don't wrap it in plastic and wait for the right time. Life's too short. Entirely too short. So today we're going to be talking about developing a healthy mindset, right? And we're going to do this talking some more. We talked a little bit about it yesterday, but today we're really going to dig in on the words because, the words that we say to ourselves oftentimes are so much more harsh than what anybody else could say to us. Have you noticed that? The harshness with which you think to yourself or even say out loud to yourself. And I will say that positive self-talk is to emotional pain as a pain pill is to actual physical pain. That is the soothing balm of what can happen. My friend Srini Pillay wrote a wonderful book, Life Unlocked, several books like that. And just, he's such a brilliant psychiatrist, and he's on staff at Harvard, and he's done so much work with the brain. And one of the things that he was saying in his newsletter today, which was just so good, he was like, do positive affirmations work, even when you feel like crud, even when whatever. And he said, yes. So sometimes we think when we are doing these positive affirmations, we're having a really lousy day, that we think this is just nothing. We're just talking up our sleeves. We're just talking out loud. It changes our brain's chemistry, however, and our brain accepts that as a reward. So this, even when you're not feeling it, still saying it, your brain isn't going to emote over that. Your brain is going to accept that as direction, as instruction. Isn't that cool? And that's what we're talking about today, because what you think about, you become. You do. You do. I can never lose weight. Well, your wish is my command, says your brain. I can never, what is it? Wait, I'm listening, says your brain. I'm ready to fulfill this dream of yours, because remember, your brain has zero moral compass and really doesn't give a hang about what it is that you truly, truly want in your heart of hearts. It only takes direction. And your negative self-talk is giving it direction. Sad, hopeless, overwhelmed, whatever, your brain is listening and is happy to comply with those kind of directions. This is how we're wired, y'all. This is how it is. Our brains are always on the lookout to prove that our brain is right. It's like your husband, right? I'm always right. Kind of thing. I told my husband that. He thought that was pretty funny. And then he gave me a kind of a side eye. So I want you to just take a look at this, because yes, other people's negative talk to you and harshness to you, it can be debilitating. Never, ever, ever going to say that it's not. But our own self-talk, our own deprecating humor, it's not funny, by the way. We do that at our own expense, right? And this becomes our world. And this is the stuff that we manifest by using, this is the inner dialogue that helps us to manifest those things that we don't want, by the way. So we have to hash out our beliefs, our fears, our ideas, our thoughts about things. We have to hash out whatever random thoughts come our way. We have to hash it out. We have to start noticing. We have to become students of ourselves. Because when we do, that's when we can make an aha decision and say, wait a second, I want to change that. It's not working for me. And all of this inner dialogue stuff, like I said, has been vastly studied, like my friend Srini that I told you about. And there's, I mean, you can find a million studies online. Just look for it, the science behind self-talk and what it's all about. Because I say to you with all of my heart, and I believe this with all my, and I will say to you right now, if you are unwilling to listen to any of this, but you're saying, ooh, I want that ultimate sprint, please don't get it. I truly don't want you to get it. If you are unwilling to change your mind, if you're unwilling to be open, if you are unwilling to take a notice about what it is that you're doing and your mindset, and you just want to walk down the road with your same old negative mindset, that plan's not going to do diddly squat for you. Maybe for a week, then you go back to your own stuff, and there we go again. If we don't change our mindset, we cannot change anything. Period. That's why I always say to you, it's about your heart, mind, body, and soul. If we don't put all of the things together, we can't be all of the things together. You know, and I've spoken about this about athletes. How many times have you heard me reference Diana Nyad, for example? How many times have you heard about Michael Phelps or Tiger Woods or any of these extraordinary athletes? Their edge was their self-talk. And they had coaches to help them with that. They had coaches to help them with their athleticism, of course. But they have coaches that would step in and say, what are you thinking about? What are you seeing right now? What is in your mind's eye? One of the things that Michael Phelps said was that he could see his hand reaching to the edge of the pool, and it was before everybody else's. I get that, when you're out playing a competitive sport, you see that as well. So the studies prove all of this, and this is from, again, many studies. They prove that positive self-talk increases the performance of sports athletes. Of course it does. Everyone. And they are the standouts, and they become the standouts because of their edge in dealing with what's going on between their ears, because it motivates, it emotionally supports, creates greater understanding of yourself, and greater understanding of what it is that you're trying to accomplish. That's how important this is. And the cool part is it takes just a little bit of movement to one side or the other so that you can start getting it. You've heard me say it before. Remember, motivation's not going to come knocking on your door. Well, you know why? It's because your inner dialogue creates your motivation. And it's also what you do that creates that motivation. So it's a whole different thing. There's no passiveness involved here. It's all very proactive. And so just like an athlete that's wanting to have a better performance, our vibrancy or lack of it is in direct correlation in the way we talk to ourselves. And that is the truth of everything, isn't it? 100%. Sandra says, I'm a bodybuilder. Yes, you are. Of course you are. Of course you are. I'm an athlete, Isn't it funny how things show up for you and get right into that place? So we all have thoughts that are based on our conditioning, of course. Remember, I grew up in a home, money doesn't grow on trees, What kind of a standard does that set up, right? That sets up a scarcity mindset for everything. We can't afford that. It's too hard. Do you think money grows on trees? And where does our energy go? It goes to the lack. It goes to the I don't have. It's going to everything's too expensive. We don't see investment opportunities. We don't see things that could be. We never ask ourselves the questions, what if? Well, can you imagine if I did this? Or if we did, as kids, shot down. I remember saying, I want to go to France and see all this. Well, who's going to pay for that? How are you going to be able to do that? It took me so long to finally get through all that. And you know the story. I went to France all by myself. I took my 1,000,000 points that I had saved up from all of my credit card and put myself on a first-class flight, transcontinental, to France and traveled there all by myself because I wanted to go. And I did that. And I said, look, Mom, see, she was so proud of me. So negative self-talk, though, is more than just relics from your past. And that's some of the things that we want to talk about. There are also thoughts that are complicated by emotions. You know that. We get the feelings and the experiences and the past all come in together in this big whirlwind to haunt us. And I will never be dismissive about emotions. I will not. But I will also say that sometimes we can say, okay, this is an emotional thing. I'm going to have to deal with all of that. But I can separate this out. And I can say, I am not going to allow the power of that emotion to push me over into this edge of falling off that emotional cliff and going down into that negative thinking loop. We can make that decision, I'm dead serious. It's not out of control, and it's not somebody else running the bus. And I will tell you, if I had listened to everything, every fear that had come my way and had that stop me, there would never have been a saving dinner, right? There would have never been that trip to France. I would have probably never had children. All of the things, all of my fears were sometimes met, and I'm not going to do them. And then sometimes they were met with this, you know what? I'm on top of that. I can do this. So we have to use our tools to bring mindfulness back into the whole thing. That's just the way it is. We have things that we use here. We have quote decks. And by the way, if you don't have any of our quote decks, We still have it, and they are still on sale. We have mindfulness mugs so that when you pick up a mug that you're seeing something that is feeding your brain the positivity that you need to be seeing on a regular basis, especially if you're fighting the negativity. It's really important. And when you're journaling, when you're meditating, when you're doing all these things, you are instilling into yourself this new way of thinking, this new positivity, this new way of looking at the world with a very different colored lens. So our brains can't be left to their own devices, and they can't be left to figure this out. We've got to reprogram it ourselves. We're the ones who have to step into it. That's why our intentions create new neural pathways. You've heard me talk before about the Oregon trails in our brains. It's that same old rut that we keep going through. You know, the Oregon Trail still has ruts that are still there, visible in, across, I don't know, Utah and a few other places, still there. That's how our brains are. They want to go there. That's what they know. But if we can do things a little bit differently and start creating those neural pathways, we can start creating a better system to get ourselves going. So you want to know how to construct some of these? Some of them you've heard before. I'm going to repeat them over and over again until you get them, until you start to do them, because they're that important. And number one is to speak to yourself out loud and use your name. You know, our names are the most wonderful thing that we can ever hear on the planet. Do you know that? When you hear your name, you hear it in a crowded room. You hear it. Suddenly somebody says, Leanne, you're just looking around saying, who said my name? We hear that acutely. We hear it. So if you do this, use it to your advantage and look yourself in the mirror and say, Leanne, you've got this. Leanne, you can do this, but use your name, not mine. And start regarding yourself and understanding to yourself and putting it out loud so that it's audible and you can hear it. Then you're hearing and you're seeing as well if you do it in the mirror. I do this in myself. Number two is look yourself in the eye. Look yourself in the eye and tell yourself what it is that you're going to do and what you're about. These things, your body, your mind is going to listen to. Okay, gosh, she's serious. She's looking me straight in the eye. It's kind of a weird thing, but it's powerful. It's penetrating, and it starts to really take care of that negativity. Doesn't magically make things disappear and make it all go away, but it will deal with it. I have done this in the darkest of times, and it's made a huge difference. Number three, use I am statements, the good ones. Don't ever say I am so dumb or I am so this or I am blah, blah. Start saying things that are declarative and are actual manifestos. I am an athlete. I am powerful. I am a good decision maker. I am embracing change and loving the results. Of course, and on we go. Do you see this? And we get excited about this. The emotion level goes up. Number four is to vision board that vibrancy, Then keep it visible. Then take a look at it and say, I'm coming for you. You've seen my vision board. I've shown you my vision board that I had on there since 2018 with the house on the water, with the dock and the boat and everything. And here I am living that dream right now. Vision board, keeping it visual. Keep talking to it. One day you will be mine. Yes, you will. Number five, gratitude will break the back of negativity, because what cannot exist in the same brain and the same thought is bitterness, anger, and all of the rest of that nasty stuff. It cannot coexist with gratitude. So if you go there and say, you know what? I am grateful for the one thing that I can hold my tongue to this nasty woman at the bank or whatever. I have gratitude for that. Robin Sharma said, gratitude is the antidote to fear. And he's right. We know the many faces of fear. There are many faces. Scarcity, criticism, failure, rejection, perfectionism is one. Saying yes when you mean no, saying no when you mean yes, procrastination. That's all fear, And we also check out by numbing out, Get me a glass of wine or go sit in front of the Netflix for hours on end or chill out on the phone, right? Is that so crazy? And then what we need to do is add in some positive extras to all of this. We don't want to have our joy stolen by procrastination. Instead, what we want to do is we want to step into this. So we want to, one, develop a meditation practice. This is critical. This is crucial. This is absolutely necessary. Develop that. And number two is we have to focus on what you want and appreciate it. Because the appreciation is the thing that's going to take you to the next level. Appreciation is gratitude that is expressed freely. I tell my husband every single day that I appreciate him. Do you know how much I appreciate you? And he always smiles and says, yes, I do. Do you know how much I appreciate you? That's as good as I love you, you know? And it's better because it's saying something that's more toothsome that you can put your mind around. It makes him feel special. It makes him feel loved. Same here. Goes both ways. Number three is to question your beliefs if they're contrary to what you want. What is true about that thought? Nothing wrong in asking that. Is that really the truth? Or was that the truth 10 years ago, but it's not today? And that's okay. Things change. Have you noticed? The world's not the same as it was 10 years ago. It's so true. Number four is trust the one who made you. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. You're here on purpose and for purpose. And don't you ever forget that. Then all of this that I'm saying has to be true. Because that is what's going to put you in the place of vibrancy so that you can live out your mission and your purpose. If you think that you're here just to take up space or you're a biological accident, you are sorely mistaken. And number five is to find your people. They're here. Have you noticed that? They are here. They're here in this chat right now. They are here in our Hot Milk Sprint group. They are here and they love you and they care. They have words of encouragement for you. They have words of support to you. They'll give you their phone number. They'll say, call me. Our Mother Hen is like that, right? This is the stuff that creates the vibrancy that we all want and that we all are seeking, that we all want to live our lives by, the credo that we want. It cannot happen without a shift in the mindset. You cannot be living in this good life on the outside and on the inside of your head, just have the garbage truck unloaded. Question everything, notice everything. It gets a little bit exhausting at first, I'm not going to lie. But I will tell you that as you start to replace these things, doing some of those mirror exercises and calling yourself by name, writing out your affirmations, meditating and speaking the truth in love to yourself, you will see and you will arise like a phoenix out of the ashes into a new person. Your vibrancy will be palpable. And everyone around you will notice. Because the connection between your heart, mind, body, and soul, that's what you'll be living out. Right? That's who we are. That's how we were fearfully and wonderfully made, after all. I love this stuff, don't you? So good. So juicy. Now go out there and have a fabulous rest of your day. Don't forget to get our show notes. Don't forget about the Ultimate Sprint coming up. Don't forget all the things. Go to savingdinner.com/announcements for all the information that you may have missed at the beginning. And I will see you for sure on Monday. Peace be with you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.